Welcome to Customer Dimension Load Considerations. Now that's a long title for a video, but I want to make sure that you understand what we're about to jump into here when we start to load this customer dimension. And I want to kind of maybe lower your expectations or maybe raise your awareness of just how it works in the real world quite often, and to kind of relieve you of some frustration that you're going to feel when you do this process, especially if you've never done it before. First of all, understand data warehouse design and implementation is an iterative process. Nobody sits down and designs these things, implements it, writes the code, loads it, and the packages all work and there are no surprises, okay? It just doesn't happen that way. If people tell you that they do that, just know that they'll lie to you about other stuff too. So a lot of times you hear people talk about a waterfall process. So let me talk about what the goal is here with these videos you're about to see on loading the customer dimension and then loading the fact tables. First of all, understand we need to determine a plan for loading our dimension data. Now this actually should have been part of our architecture because we need to know, for example, do we just want to every time we do a data warehouse load wipe the dimensions and reload them with the latest data? And that's all going to depend on where all the data is coming from, whether you're staging that data like we're doing here. We're basically using the AdventureWorks 2012 data warehouse tables as like a staging location for us so that we can concentrate more on the things they're going to test you on, which is SSIS considerations and structure, rather than where the data came from and how you tweaked it and all, okay? Part of our architecture, part of our original plan would have been determined exactly, are these the customer dimensions? Are they slowly changing? Do we need to make provisions for that? And to make this simple, on this one, I'm just going to override them every time. And people do this all the time. Now keep in mind, doesn't matter how much you think it through, doesn't matter how many waterfall processes you go through, there are always changes that you see when you actually start loading the tables, when you're designing them and so forth. So part of your job here is to just deal with the realities that crop up, and there are plenty of realities that will do that. Then you want to learn from the process. The difference between a really good data warehouse designer and one who's not so good is the one that is good has simply made a lot more mistakes than the one that's not, okay? You know, there's that old joke out there about Mars. Why does Mars look like the way it does? Or why does it look the way it does? Well, that's because their scientists were more advanced than ours. Same thing here with data warehousing. The more problems, irritations, mistakes you make, the better you are at this whole game, okay? So here's our plan. We will completely refresh the customer dimension every time we perform a data load. Now, if you're thinking about this, you're saying, hey, wait a minute, what about changes in the dimension data? You're just going to overwrite those and wipe them? Yes, we are. Management has told us, and I've actually been told this before, I'm not concerned with where my customers live, what region they're from. We don't sell to regions, we sell to customers. I just want to know who my customers are. I want to know what they're buying so that I can direct the sales force on how to call on these people and how to identify emerging markets, okay? And so I'm going to bring that little bit of real worldness into this, and we're just going to load the customer dimension. And what I'm going to do, first step, we're going to truncate the data from it. Then we're going to go grab the new data and dump it into it, okay? Sounds simple. Well, you'll find out there's always a couple little challenges that crop up. And so join me in the next video, maybe 2, maybe 3, and we're going to actually load the customer dimension. So look for the video entitled Loading Customer Dimension Part 1, and I'll see you there.